Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is Monday, March 24th, 2014. A lot to talk about football-wise, NFL news. You got some harsh words coming from Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban to the NFL. Is he right? We'll talk about that. Mark Sanchez, where will he go? And I'll tell you why. I'm still a fan of Mark Sanchez. I'm still a fan of him. Not a whole lot of people are, but we'll talk about that. And Deshaun Jackson, lost guy. He's a lost guy. Before we get started, though, I do want to give a quick shout out to my friend in Seattle. Co-worker with him for a while I was up there. Happy birthday, John. Hope you have a good one. That's my gift, man. Anyways, not a whole lot of college football news, though. Not a whole lot of college football news. A little disappointing. But I guess it's all SEC right here, because first news is two things for Auburn. Actually, three things. Auburn defensive end Ladarius Owens will be sidelined for the remainder of spring practice due to an undisclosed injury. And also linebacker Anthony Swain is not practicing with the team. Nothing else was given after that. There was no reason if he was hurt, kicked off the team, academic issues, nothing. Just straight up not kicked off the team, but just not practicing. And also, this is all defense right here. Safety Trent Fisher. Apparently, I didn't even know this. He is the son of St. Louis Rams head coach Jeff Fisher. Anyways, Trent is no longer with the team and is unknown at this time if he's going to try to transfer anywhere. He has 1 year left of eligibility, and he is allowed to transfer anywhere, FBS, FCS, Division III, wherever he decides to go, and he can play without sitting out anytime. But I didn't even know. And apparently Trent Fisher, he's won SEC academic honor roll twice. He was a walk-on and then earned a scholarship because of the honor roll type thing, and was a good, he was on special teams, solid player, but just no longer with the team anymore. Just quit. That wasn't kicked off. Just decided to leave. And for Ladarius Owens, this guy, I could see him being a big star. Coming in for after this will be his, I believe, senior year this year, or maybe a junior. But anyways, he's got the body just to be an NFL type caliber. He looks like his, I guess now former teammate D Ford. He looks just like him. But just saying that he's sidelined, not giving any other news on his injury. Not saying I think it might be an ankle injury, but because they say he was walking with a boot on, but they're not saying anything else on that. But other news, and this is really, really, really bad news for Georgia Bulldog fans, and that's wide receiver Malcolm Mitchell. Now, most of them remember him from last season where he tore his ACL and is on his right leg in the season opener against Clemson, where he's celebrating with one of his teammates. I believe Gurley ran for a touchdown, then he jumped on him, came down wrong, bam, tore his ACL just like that. Just like that. All he did was jump in celebration. ACL gone, just like that. Anyways, he injured his left leg this week, and he's out for the remainder of Georgia's spring practices. He is expected to be back for Georgia's training camp, leading into the 2014 season. But that is just bad news for this guy. I mean, he's just been hit with the injury plague like crazy, and he's got serious talent. He's got so much talent, but I mean, just another injury. Thankfully, didn't tear anything. He's gonna be out for the entire spring practice, which is not good for Georgia. They're gonna have a new quarterback coming in, and really just to have Mitchell out there, who shows that he could be a deep threat type guy. Not having him there now is gonna, I'm not saying impact him towards the season, but it would be nice to have him, of course. But moving on, that's it for college football. Not a whole lot. But NFL, there's a lot of things to talk about. One thing is 45 more days to the NFL draft. 45. We can do it, guys. We can do it. 45 more days to the NFL draft. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. Before you know, it's going to be 44, and that's tomorrow. That's the positive side looking at it. Anyways, over the weekend, here are some quick things. Steelers signed former New Orleans Saints wide receiver Lance Moore to a 2-year contract. The Giants signed former Dolphins offensive lineman John Jerry Jerry was connected to the Richie Incognito and Jonathan Martin situation, but shouldn't face anything serious or anything. And also, Oakland Raiders traded a 6th-round draft pick to the Houston Texans in exchange for quarterback Matt Schaub. The funny thing about this, now, I posted on my Facebook page, The Short Sports Show. You can go give it a like while you are there. Self-plug. Anyways, there's this picture from Sports Humor, and it was funny. It says that, the Oakland Raiders get Matt Schaub, blah, blah, blah. And Matt Schaub gives the Houston Texans one last pick 6 because they traded for a 6th-round draft pick. There you go. Anyways, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny if you understand, because Matt Schaub threw for 5 straight weeks through a pick 6, and now not only is he's traded for a 6th-round draft pick. There you go, 6. Okay. Anyways, moving on. He did rework his contract because he was going to be owed, I believe, originally was going to be owed $14.5 million, and a $10 million base salary for the 2014 season alone. But now, by reworking his contract, he has 2 years left on the deal, and lowering his base salary and salary cap number this season by a few million. But he is still given the chance to earn $15 to $20 million over the next 2 seasons. These are basically what all that means is that it's a little incentives in there. They cut it down so it wouldn't take a huge cap hit to the Raiders for these next 2 years. But he's still eligible to earn, again, $15 to $20 million that he would have earned originally with the Houston Texans. More quarterback news. First let's just talk about the Oakland Raiders and getting Matt Schaub. Now, Oakland did say once they acquired Matt Schaub from the Texans, they did say he is the number 1 quarterback. He will be the starting quarterback week 1 unless there's some type of injury to him or Matt Schaub goes crazy and gets arrested or something. But then that's kind of being like a Raider, so I guess. Anyways, again, that's putting Matt Schaub over Terrell Pryor and also Matt McGloin. They say they're trying to really work Matt McGloin into, a really solid backup, becoming like a Kerry Collins. Remember him? Kerry Collins played for the Giants. He actually took the Giants to the Super Bowl. Played for Tennessee Titans, took them to the AFC Championship, also led them to one of their worst seasons ever. I think the season afterwards. Kerry Collins, you gotta remember, war number 5. Yeah, anyways, he's old, kind of looks like Brett Favre. Anyways, that's how they're trying to get McGloin. They feel like they could develop him. I doubt they see him as a starter, but they're trying to develop him just in case any injury or something happened to whoever their starting quarterback would be in the future, whether it continues to be Matt Schaub or some other quarterback. They believe he could be that step-in guy that could get the job done. And McGloin, he's not good, but he's not bad either. So, that's good for them. But now it leaves a question, what about Terrell Pryor? Now, they did say all 3 quarterbacks will have a chance to, compete as the number 1 quarterback. But as of right now, if the season were to start today, it would be Matt Schaub at starting quarterback. And really, there shouldn't be any doubt that Matt Schaub, shouldn't be the starting quarterback. You're paying him a whole lot of money. He's got the experience. I think Matt Schaub, just something with the Texans went wrong last year, and I really can't tell you what. I don't blame it on Arian Foster's injury being out. I don't know what to blame it on. Gary Kubiak, maybe the play calling, because it's so weird how you can have a team that by the previous seasons went to the playoffs, and I think each time made it to the AFC divisional playoffs, but the next season after that, you become the first pick, have the first pick in the NFL draft. It's very weird how you have the exact same roster and just drop. So, I believe Matt Schaub still has it in him to get the job done. Oakland, you're going to have, and then this is a part for Matt Schaub where it could get pretty bad for him itself. You may be able to make some good money for you, but you're not going to have the weapons that you did in Houston. And Houston's about to get even more weapons, with their draft pick selection area. that they'll be able to draft some good receivers, move their way, trade up and down, whatever they feel like doing. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing for Matt Schaub. I don't think he's going to have a whole lot of success in Oakland because of not having the targets, So it's going to be interesting to see, and especially you're going to be going against Denver twice a year. They've obviously have now improved their defense even more. San Diego, I like to say we try to improve in our defense, but really, who knows? But you're going to play San Diego. Kansas City had one of the top defenses. You have to play them twice now. You're looking at a top 10 defense in both the Broncos and the Chiefs. That's 4 games against top 10 defenses and not really having a top offense. It's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you. And San Diego might be a top 15, hopefully a top 20 for sure. But, it's going to be tough for the Oakland Raiders and Matt Schaub. But I guess it's still a step up for him. Terrell Pryor, who knows what's going to happen with him. I'm not saying he's going to get traded or anything, but who knows what happens with him. But anyways, moving on. Jets, Jets, they did it again. They're making offseason moves. It doesn't involve Tim Tebow, sadly. But they did release quarterback Mark Sanchez, and then 2 minutes later, signed Michael Vick to a 1-year, $5 million deal. First, we will talk about Mark Sanchez. And I'm going to talk about Mark Sanchez is because I am still somewhat of a fan of Mark Sanchez. The reason why is because now let's bring it back. Let's reminisce for a second here. Let's just close your eyes and just think about it. Mark Sanchez, in his first 2 years as a starter, his first 2 seasons in the NFL with the New York Jets, he led the Jets to the AFC Championship twice, back to back. No other quarterback and rookie head coach has ever in the NFL history has led their teams the first 2 years of coaching and starting at quarterback, taking them to the AFC Championship or any championship, whether it's NFC or AFC. That's really good. Yes, they did lose both of them, but he still did it. Tom Brady never did that. Well, obviously Tom Brady wasn't a rookie when he got in, but Peyton didn't do it. I'm just saying. And I'm not comparing now. I'm just saying, Sanchez did do something that, other quarterbacks or any quarterback has ever done. And the reason I kind of like Mark Sanchez is, I think he still has the talent around him. I think it was just, with the butt fumble and a few other things, the management that the Jets were doing kind of just brought him down, all the shots that he was taking. And I don't think he was, used to all that. And so with that, I guess my main reason for liking him is because, if San Diego had not signed Kellen Clemens to be the backup, I would be in much favorite to sign Mark Sanchez to become San Diego's backup. I think it would be perfect. Bring him back to Southern Cal, where he's used to because he is from USC. It's where he won at, in college. Bring him back. Bring him back in the area that he's used to, he's comfortable in, and just try to get, his confidence build up. That's what it is. That's what I was looking for. He needs the confidence back in himself. And, looking at his stats, there's not a lot of confidence in that. He's 33-29 in 4 seasons as a Jets starter. He did have 4 road playoff wins. That's really good. He has 68 career touchdowns to 69 interceptions. Terrible. 71.7 passer rating. Okay, I guess. Not the best. You really want to hire. He is 27 years old. So I think it would have been perfect. Bring him back to Southern Cal. And rework him, build the confidence. Know that he's not going to be the starter, but get some motivation back in him, and then you never know. I guess for San Diego it wouldn't make sense, because it'd be like training him up just to let him go somewhere. But I think that's what Mark Sanchez needs. Go back to where he's comfortable in. Oakland would have been good for him. I know it's not Southern Cal, but California area. Oakland would have been a nice fit because he could have competed for the starting job. San Francisco would have been a good place. have Mark Sanchez be the next Alex Smith. Let him be coached by Jim Harbaugh, develop him into a better quarterback, and see where that could take Sanchez. But anyways, that's I feel like Mark Sanchez still has it. I feel like he still has it. I really do. I know other people don't think because of all the bloopers that he's had and just I don't know. He's becoming a laughing stock basically, but I really think he could still become a solid quarterback that can lead a team to a 9+ win season year in, year out. I really do believe that. Just needs to come back to where his roots are and just develop from there and see where that takes him. But back to Michael Vick. For Michael Vick, he did say, quote, "As of now, Geno is the starting quarterback of this football team. From this point on, we're going to compete every day." Then later said, "I wouldn't say I necessarily be okay with sitting on the bench, but I know what I signed up for. I know what I came to New York. Oh, when I came to New York to do, first and foremost, I came to compete and be there for Geno. I know he has a long way to go, but we've talked to each other. Both agree we're going to push one another to become better every day." And, for Michael Vick to the Jets, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I didn't know how I was going to approach this. For Michael Vick going to the Jets, I don't know what the Jets are doing, to be honest with you. Releasing Mark Sanchez, yes, that was the best thing to do. Saves you money and get him out of New York. Signing Vick, what was the point of drafting Geno Smith, to be honest with you? In the second round, they drafted him. Was that to push Mark Sanchez, to get better? I don't know. I can't understand their mindset of what they do. I mean, Geno Smith, when coming out of college, especially when West Virginia started off undefeated, scoring 70 points plus per game, I really, was like, wow, Geno Smith is the best quarterback in that draft class and is going to be something. Still think he has the talent to actually become a solid starting quarterback in the NFL. But it's just, for the Jets, it was just a bad team. And I think this is where Geno is going to get kind of screwed for his career, is because he's with the Jets. I think, and I'm not taking any shot at the Jets. I'm just saying they're not the team that should have drafted Geno Smith, is what I'm saying. And for Vic to go there, I guess it's smart for Vic, especially the deal he got. I mean, he got one heck of a deal. 1 year, $5 million. The reason that's so good for him is because if he can stay healthy, and that's a huge if. He's only played one full season, and that was back in 2006. That was a long, long time ago. If he can stay healthy throughout the entire season, whether he's only started 8 games, he's got to start at least minimum of 6 games to be able to get something for free agency next year. But anyways, if he can stay healthy, if he does become a starter from either week 1 and later on, if he can stay healthy, has a good season, not only can he just leave the Jets, he can go out and get a bigger contract. Now, he still has the age thing on him. We'll still talk about injuries, whether he stays healthy the entire year and he has not one injury and doesn't sit out one practice. They will still bring it up. It's a good deal for him. He gets $5 million this year. It's like what's the word I'm looking for here? It's just a way to show himself for the next, season that, he could get paid more. Maybe make $10 million next year and get a bigger deal and then retire after 2 more seasons. Because I really don't see Michael Vick playing. After this year, he's probably got 1 to maybe 2 more years left in him. And I think that's it for Michael Vick. Especially the way he plays, he can't keep up with it. And he probably can't even keep up this year. I don't see Michael Vick staying healthy the entire season unless he's on the bench 85% of the time. And that's pretty huge. But Michael Vick did talk about Deshaun Jackson, and he did say, quote, "If there's an opportunity to get Deshaun, I'm pretty sure the New York Jets fans would be in high favor of that. If he ends up in New York, I'd be happy, just as happy as he'd be. but who knew? Who knows? You can't say. And that was it. But looking at that offense, if Deshaun Jackson were to get traded to the Jets or released, and the Jets did sign him, whether it's, obviously you want Michael Vick to be your starting quarterback. If Vick's the starting quarterback week 1, you have Eric Decker on one side. You got Jeremy Curley in that slot from TCU, just saying. And you also have on the right, on the opposite side, you have now Deshaun Jackson. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. That is one crazy offense right there. And maybe you never even know. What if the Jets can again trade for or either pick up if the Titans do release running back Chris Johnson? Imagine him being on that offense at running back. I know the running back situation is pretty. There's a good amount of depth for the New York Jets. Not a lot of stars though. And having Chris Johnson on there, that could be your speed factor right there. That Jets offense kind of, looks intriguing. It looks, you got a little more confidence in that offense. If Vic can stay healthy and play that like we know he can play. Or what if Geno just takes one huge step forward because of Vic being there? It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be very interesting. And one last thing on this subject before we move on is who's going to wear number 7? Who is going to wear number 7? Michael Vick says he doesn't care what number he wears. I feel like, you've been wearing 7 all your life. Obviously, you wore it in college at Virginia Tech, wore it in Atlanta, wore it in Philadelphia. I probably wore it in high school. I haven't seen him in high school, so who knows. But, it's not like I wouldn't say ego thing, but that's your number. That is your number that represents you. You know what I mean? And especially being in New York, you're going to get some advertisers, and you want to have that 7 still on you. As for Geno Smith, he can't wear number 12 because of Joe Namath. Geno wore that in college at West Virginia. So Geno could switch numbers. I hope he doesn't pull like a Cam Newton, wear number 1. Hopefully not a number 2. Maybe something different. Give him double digits. 17. Give him 17. I don't know who wears 17 for the Jets. Give him 17 anyways. So he still has 7 on him, and then give Michael Vick the 7. Bam. Just solved it right there. Just solved it right there. Awesome. Awesome. But all right, let's move on. We talked about the Jets way too long. But it's going to be interesting to follow, keep watching that throughout the offseason. This is when Hard Knocks should be for the Jets. We need to see how Michael Vick is going to be. Michael Vick's going to have so many roles for that team. I know we just said we stopped talking about him, but hold on. I just thought of something. He's not only going to be a mentor to Geno Smith, he's going to be, that type of father figure, but he's also got to be that competitor and know that, yes, I'm going to try to mentor you and build you up to be the best quarterback you can be, but I'm also going to try to I am going to take your job. And he's hoping, and he's going to work as hard as he can to be week 1 and not week 9, 8, 10, 15 or something. He's going to take that job at week 1, preseason week 1 if he needs to. So it's going to be so weird because, usually when you sign a veteran quarterback and you have a young quarterback and Geno Smith only being his first, now 1 year pro, it's going to be weird because you're building him up and give him knowledge to get better. And not saying he's just sabotage him, make him get worse so he can become the starting quarterback. But, it's a mentor, but also someone that's going to just take your job. It's going to be weird. It's going to be very weird, very, very weird. Moving on, the Baltimore Ravens traded 2015 mid-round draft pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for offensive lineman Jeremy Zuda. Zuda, I believe, is like 27 years old and helps the Baltimore Ravens add some depth up there. Now, another discussion type video right here, and that is Mark Cuban. Now, recently, Mark Cuban, Dallas Mavericks owner, had some strong words for the NFL saying, quote, "I think the NFL is 10 years away from implosion. I'm just telling you, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered, and they're getting hoggy. Just watch. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. When you try to take it too far, people turn the other way." Then he continued to say, quote, "I'm just telling you, when you have a good thing and you get greedy, it always, always, always always turns on you. That's the number one rule of business. And apparently Cuban is talking about the NFL's decision to expand their television package, and he considers it to be poor business decision by the NFL because they play games on days other than Sundays and Mondays, saying, quote, they're trying to take over every night of TV. Initially, it'll be, the biggest rating thing there is, that there is. Okay, Thursday, that's great regardless of what happens, whether it impacts the NBA during the period when we cross over. Then if it gets on Saturday, now you're impacting colleges. Now it's on 4 days a week. It's all football. At some point, the people get sick of it, end quote. Now, I'm going to disagree with that last statement. I love watching football Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. I don't like the NFL being on Saturdays just because that is college football day. That's all college football. That's the day. That's it. I know college football goes on Tuesdays and they'll have Thursday games, they'll have Friday games, they even have Wednesday games. And that's because, those are usually smaller schools that have those games, but most of the time they're not getting that big of ratings anyway. So it doesn't matter. But I believe college football should be the only thing that goes out, those type of days, those Tuesdays, Thursdays. Or, the NFL, I don't mind the NFL being on Thursdays. I don't want to see it every single week. I like it when it starts, maybe from week 8 onwards until about week, 15 or something. From week 8 to week 15, Thursday night football games, that's fine with me. Every week Thursdays, not a fan. Just because, it's not when NFL football is supposed to be played. Sundays, obviously, that's all Sunday NFL. Mondays, Monday Night Football, can't get enough of it. You have to have it. But Mark Cuban, I think he's just going, just trying to get his name out there because obviously the name's already out there, but just trying to talk again. I'm a fan of Mark Cuban. I love watching him on the Shark Tank. He's a Dallas Mavericks owner. He should probably just focus on his Mavs right now as they're trying to get a playoff spot. So really, it's weird. But the NFL, what he is talking about, I think it is stupid for the NFL to start picking, other days to play. But, again, Mondays, Sundays, and a little bit of Thursdays are okay for NFL. That's the only days it should be on. It should not be on Saturdays. And anything else like that. But for Mark Cuban to go out and just, saying that basically the owners, because the owners vote on this, calling them pigs, calling them hogs, that they're going to get slaughtered, but he is telling the truth. When you have a good thing and you get greedy, it'll always turn on you. And that is true. That is absolutely true. So, NFL should watch what they do. I'm not saying I agree with the 10 years away from just being gone. But we also remember, I believe it was this past offseason, before last season started, we were talking about, and I know some players were tweeting about how the NFL might not last in 5 years from now, because I believe it was probably the safety situation or the money situation. And now it brings this back up. So are we going to have NFL in 10 years? I don't think there's any concern. I think it's more of like, when you think of those conspiracies that, the world's going to end 2012. Well, we got past that. It's going to end, this and this and then. I think it's one of those conspiracy type things where, the NFL is going to end in this time. And then next thing you know, you're 2 years after that, you're still NFL football. So I don't know. It's just one of those weird things. But I don't really agree with Mark Cuban on some of the things that he said, but there's also NFL should watch what they do as well. But anyways, did anybody see that tweet by the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Roddy White? That bet that he had on Twitter. Apparently, Roddy White told a fan last week that he would give him Atlanta Falcons season tickets on the 50-yard line if Mercer beat Duke in March Madness. Well, Mercer upset Duke 78-71. White responded Friday to his followers that he would pay off the bet by giving the fan, whose name is Dylan Hoyt, I hope I said his last name right, giving him tickets to the Falcons game this season against the Chicago Bears. Now, apparently, Roddy White saw Dylan's tweet saying, "Go Bears." Well, Mercer, their name, their nickname, their sports name is called the Bears. And he said, "Go Bears." Now, White assumed that Bears meant that he was a Chicago Bears fan. So he gave him he gave him tickets, 50-yard line tickets to the Falcons game against the Chicago Bears. Well, the fan later tweeted, after that, or before that, people were saying, "Hey, you said season tickets. He was supposed to get, 50-yard line season tickets, this and that. You're giving him just one game out of, what should be 16 others, or 15 more games." But, and Roddy White was like, it wasn't a legitimate bet, blah, blah, blah. Or it was a bet, but, it's illegal to gamble. And he said all this other things. All people are crazy, this and that. But Dylan did tweet something that was kind of, good. Anyways, Dylan is a Atlanta Falcons fan. He's not a Chicago Bears fan. He is all Falcons fan. He did tweet, "I don't expect anything from Roddy White because it wasn't even a legitimate bet. I don't want to be a distraction to the Falcons organization. Don't stress it. Go out and get your grind. Let's get a Super Bowl." And, that was tweet right there. That was an awesome tweet by him. That was awesome. But so I don't know if he's actually going to still get those tickets or not. I assume he'll still get the game against the Chicago Bears tickets. He won't be getting season tickets, that's for sure, apparently. But even though it wasn't a legitimate real bet, it was still kind of out there, especially with Twitter and how social media gets out. Roddy White, you're making millions, dude. Or, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Give him just season tickets. Just imagine what that impacts him for the rest of his life that he can say. It's not like Roddy White couldn't do it. I'm just saying. But anyways, that was an awesome thing to follow. Last Jet news, I forgot to include this with the Michael Vick and Mark Sanchez situation. Jets owner Woody Johnson said yesterday that his team would have interest in Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver Deshaun Jackson, either by trade or if Jackson were to get released, saying, quote, "We're looking at a number of players, including Deshaun. He's a very good player. We're looking at a number of them. Trade's not our primary operating motive right now. We're trying to building through the draft to something that is the way of building a successful team long term," end quote. That's a pretty dumb statement by him because obviously your draft hasn't really been the best over the past few seasons. But anyways, Jets are a team that are interested in, we've heard about them, other reports that they have been interested, but there is one team that has come out and said they are not interested, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. People, saying that Seahawks were interested. I assumed they were interested in him as well. But the reason they're not is not because they don't want him to join the team or they don't see him fitting into their offense, because Deshaun Jackson paired up with Percy Harvin and Jermaine Kearse. Golden Tate's gone. I don't know who their other receivers. But the reason the Seahawks aren't interested in Deshaun Jackson is because there's no money. There's no money. Yes, they have cap space probably to sign him, but you got to realize Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas are both free agents after this season. They have to re-sign them. Not only, to a good year-long terms, they got to get money for them because they're both about to be paid very, very highly. And if they don't get paid by the Seahawks very highly, someone else will pay for them. And then Russell Wilson, 2015 season, not this season, but next season will be his last year on the contract, on his rookie contract. So obviously they might want to try to extend him from that point, but they could also wait until the next season. But 2015 is his last year on the contract for Russell Wilson. So that's why Seahawks aren't going to go after Deshaun, because that's just too much money that they're trying to save. Makes sense for the Seahawks. And obviously their offense did okay by winning the Super Bowl. The 49ers are another team they're kind of teasers. You can't really tell if they're interested after mixed reports saying they are, but then also saying they're not interested at all. It's very confusing where the 49ers are at this point. Moving on, Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Williams was hospitalized after being stabbed in the thigh yesterday in his Tampa Bay home. And out of all people, his brother is to be the suspect. Apparently, his brother stabbed him in the leg. So, and they're looking for him. They have not found him. So that's interesting. And one last thing, actually, there's two more things, and then that's it for today's show. And that's according to Albert Breer of the NFL Network, there might be 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 games in London in 2015. There's going to be 3 this year. I am completely 100% against NFL games being overseas, especially to London. Reason why, there's nothing against London. It's just people got to think about the players in the situation. They're having to travel across the country, well, obviously across the world, go to London just to play a game, and especially this topic of the NFL trying to get a franchise to London. No one is gonna want to be there. You got to think about it. You have 8 home games, 8 away games in a season. That means you're gonna have to travel 8 times overseas, to play a game for one day and then fly all the way back and do all this stuff again. It takes a huge toll on the human body to fly over there. And you got to do it 8 times in a short amount of time. And then for other teams having to go out there, no one's going to go out there, especially for players. They're not going to want to live there or be there for, an entire season. It's dumb for the NFL to think there should be a team in London. Right now, they need to focus on what about LA? LA, there should be a team there. Hopefully, my San Diego Chargers go there. But let's focus inside the country here. Let's not go out, and especially maybe I'm okay with one game in London. That's it, all season, just one game, not 3, especially not 4 games, because I don't want to see my Chargers all the way over there. But it's just dumb. But I want to hear what you guys have to think about there being games in London. Are you a fan of it? Yes, it's still an NFL game in the end that you're watching, but you got to think of it. What if you live in that city? That's one home game potentially that's taken away from you. If you're season ticket holders, now you only have 7 games. That's why usually they're having Jacksonville go out there and be the home team, because they can't sell out anyway. So they're just like, okay, well, we'll sell out over here. But still, I think it's just dumb. But the last news for today's show is Jared Allen. He has yet to make a decision on where he will sign. He said that, visit Seattle last week for the second time. Said that, he'll make his decision after this weekend when they talk it over. Well, it's Monday. Haven't heard anything yet. So only 2 offers are the Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks. He wants money. Both teams are not offering him the money that he wants. He doesn't really deserve that much money anyways. I think he's asking for like $10 million a year. Not going to get that anywhere. So, we'll see. I'm sure probably after this show he'll announce where he's signing. But it's going to be interesting to keep up with. But that is it for today's show. Next show will be Friday afternoon. And that does bring up something. One last thing again. I am noticing that I'm getting a lot more listeners on Monday's episodes compared to Fridays. So this is something I'm going to think about for the next few weeks. Keep looking at it. And if Monday shows continue to get a lot more ratings than Fridays, we might just move this show only to Mondays and just have Monday episodes every week, once a week, and that's it. So we will see. But just let me know if that's what you guys probably prefer, just Monday's episodes only. That's something I am up to and I will look at for the next few weeks. I won't make a decision, probably, minimum 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks. We'll look at it and we'll see where we're at. But again, that is the end for today's show. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at @short_sports 24/7. Link is in the description. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. Again, link is in the description. YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com. Thank you for listening. Click a like, share it, let people know what you're listening to. And I will see you guys Friday afternoon. God first, God bless. I am out.